Okay, so we're here with Marnie Ponton, the female 6-foot track champion of 2016. Congratulations, Marnie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's Tuesday now, so 3 days after. How do you feel today? How's the body?
Still sore, still struggling to walk, still struggling to sit down or stand up, but getting better each day.
And we're here at Leonie where you do a lot of your training. You had a little bit of a recovery jog this morning. Do you feel a bit better for it?
Definitely. I think I'm keen to start training again hard, but Brendan's got other ideas.
Yeah, a couple of weeks of easy running I think will do you the world of good. So I guess a lot of people will be wondering how the race panned out. We see you at the finish and we obviously see you at the start, but we don't always know what happens in between. So how did the women's race pan out this year from where you were?
So the start from Cox's River, I ran conservatively and was in the lead, and then once we crossed the river we started to climb, and I felt great, but then I saw Steph powering up behind me like the Terminator. And where it all opens out, halfway up Mini, she's passed me, and I couldn't go with her. She was flying.
Yep.
But I knew that I had more speed, and I knew that I could run downhill faster. So I just remembered that, and once we hit the top of Mini, I picked up my pace and made a concerted effort to catch her, which I did, which I was very happy with. And then we started at Pluvy again. At the bottom of Pluvy, I was probably a metre or two ahead, and then she ran past me again, flew past me, and I'm like, that's race over. But I was thought in my head I was probably running for second, but then in the back I thought, no, I'd done a lot of training up Oaks Trail, and I knew that I could run a good tempo on Black Range.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept my pace up Pluvy as Steph got 2 minutes ahead of me.
Yeah.
And then when I hit the Black Range, I started to work at a good tempo, and saw her up ahead and caught her quickly, and then just did my own race from there. Just held a good tempo, just worked it all the way to the finish. Struggled on the last 2K, mainly not puffy wise. I wasn't puffed, I was just struggling with the technical descent, but got to the finish.
Yeah, it's a tough finish to 6 foot, and I think it asks a lot of you in that last 2 kilometres, but you obviously had the race pretty much sewn up by then. Steph Austin's King of the Mountain split was actually like 3rd fastest all time, so I don't think you were running that slow. I think she was just running out of her skin a bit, but also your finishing time is 3rd on the all-time 6 foot list, behind 2 world champions, Emma Murray in mountain running and Honey Alston in orienteering. And how does that feel, knowing that you're 3rd fastest all-time woman over the course, and do you feel like you've got better in you?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, because both of those athletes they're amazing, and I do look up to them. I think the first thing I thought is, I want to run faster. Yeah, I want to run faster on that course. So I want to be down in those 340s, high 330s, definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
And so a bit about your background. You've only really stepped up to the real endurance distance in the last year or so. You were steeplechase, cross country, dabbled in mountain running as well when you were a junior, and when you came to my squad, speed was your greatest asset, and the intensity you were able to train at, that you've brought from your track background, has been like a wonderful asset to bring to your training. But as far as the transition to more endurance distance running, focused events or distances, how have you found that? And did you transition easily, you think?
So that was hard, actually. So when I've been training with you for 1 year.
Yeah.
We're Facebook friends.
Yeah.
Celebration.
I met you at 6 foot track finish line last year.
And I think the hardest thing for me was because I had a big break, and then previous to that, I did have more of a huge big speed focus just with the shorter distances. The hardest transition for me was the length. So doing higher intensity for the amount of time that I do now. So that was really hard to get used to.
And what about just slowing down as well?
And the long runs, yeah. So it took a fair few months to get used to, running over 30k.
Yeah.
But now that I'm there, it's a lot easier. But it did take a little bit of time to actually have that ability to run over 30k and actually add nutrition. I had never run with any water. I had never done any runs with fuel, and that has been a really difficult thing to get used to. But I think I'm not as good as others, but I think I'm finally getting there. Yeah, I will drink water during runs and things like that, but that was the hardest thing to get used to, is actually carrying stuff.
Yeah. And going forward now for the rest of the year, you going to shift focus a little bit and keep it fresh?
Yep, so back to the road. Not that I ever say trail road. I feel like I do. I run it all, and it just depends on the day on what terrain I'm running on. I don't particularly separate them. But as far as racing, I want to do a good road marathon and work on trying to get that fast. So yeah, right. The next big race will be Gold Coast marathon, and all the training will focus towards that.
Excellent.
And you like specificity, so we'll be on the road.
Yeah, with a bit of trail rather than mostly trail with a bit of road when you're kind of doing trail running focused stuff. But yeah, well, that's great. I think you're just at home on the road as you are on the trail. It's a lot more competitive, I guess, in the road running world at that stage, at that level that you want to reach. What do you kind of set your goals at for long term, I guess, not just Gold Coast, but longer term in the road marathon? What are you thinking of?
Yeah, it's interesting to have to actually identify what times I kind of want to do. I think realistically to debut in the 240s something would be great, and then I think it'll all be about getting as close to that 230 as I physically am capable. And seeing where it goes from there. Yeah,
well, that's great. Well, thanks, Marnie, for your time. Is there anyone you wanted to just thank?
Thanks to my family who pick up all the slack. I have 2 young children, and you, Brendan, for coaching me, and obviously my sponsors, Blue Mountains Running Company. And obviously we innovate on the trail. So yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks, Marnie. See ya.
See ya.